So we'll just record.
What's up, guys? C7. Excuse me. We got it. I gotta keep my head right. Hold on. Oh, let me. I do it. Take two. What year is your car again? All right. So Miles is driving my car. He used to have one actually. He had a C5 Zo6.
I miss it.
So he misses it. So this comes from the factory with a 5.7 liter. I modded it out. It has a 6.6 liter. I changed the transmission. I put a C6 TR6060 in it, and that was rebuilt. I put a 390 gear, and I was just trying to revitalize. I was trying to revitalize the drivetrain because the other one had 140,000 of abusive miles.
Very abusive.
Yeah. So it was time to spruce it up. So I still like this car. I don't drive it that much, but it's still a fun car. It's a good budget car. You want to make some power, get on the track immediately. I think the C5 Zo6 is hard to beat.
Very hard to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to get?
Yeah, for the money.
For 20 grand, what do you get?
You're not going to get nothing that would be close to this.
No.
Nothing close. So the weak points on this car, every car has one. Lack of power, I guess in this day and age, doesn't have the same power. Factory, anyway. The valve springs do go bad on this one. I say change them. The yellow valve springs that come on the LS6, I would definitely swap those out if you could. Other than that, you know, pretty good car.
Sometimes T56 drops keys in the transmission.
Already?
Yeah. I've heard people having differential issues out of them.
Oh, okay.
Some of them as well, but not this car.
I haven't had that experience at all. Actually.
Well, you don't have this differential anymore, do you?
Yeah, it's been no, yeah, I got it. Well, it's another, it's a 390 gear differential.
Oh, that's right. You put a gear and it went through it. And this is a TR6060.
TR6060 right? Came out a C6 ZR1. No, excuse me, C6 Zo6.
Yeah.
Low mileage, had 20,000 miles. But I still had someone go through it and rebuild it for me. And the rear end's been rebuilt. So
you really feel the road in this car, which I like, though, not in a bad way.
Yeah, yeah. It gives you a lot of feedback.
Yeah. It's almost like you're driving a big go-kart.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. She's fun for sure. Doesn't sound like that LS7, though. An LS7 has a distinct sound.
I was going to say, though, it does sound great.
Oh, she sounds rowdy.
I miss it.
Yeah.
Still a lot of torque. How much power does this make?
This makes 465, and I can't remember the torque, but the torque was higher, and the torque came in pretty low. I think the torque was like around 2,000, 2,500 RPM. She was making actually 400 foot-pounds of torque starting at 2,000 RPM, and like I think it peaked at 475 torque.
And this might weigh
32.
3150, 3200.
Yeah, no more than 32. I say 3,200.
Yeah.
I didn't really add anything to it that would put much weight. It's got a subwoofer. That thing's probably 25 pounds.
Seats, airbag, all that. You ditched some weight.
Yeah, I ditched some weight too with the seats. Yeah, but I did like the factory seats. Let me tell you, I like the factory seats on the C5 more than the C7. The C7, the seats are hard. I drove one down from Atlanta all the way down to Miami. My butt was hurting, my thighs were hurting. When I had the factory seats in here, I can go down and back, no problem. Never had pain. But it was a lot more squishy, you know?
Still has a lot of torque. Yeah. I tell you what, these tires, they don't hook up.
Oh, the tires are done, yeah.
They don't hook up.
Yeah. Well, you used to 100 tread wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're giving her all the juice right there. You want to do that on the track, you got to roll it on the track. Because even on the track with a 100 tread wear, I don't think you can just goose it.
No, but on the Hoosiers, second gear out of a turn, I'm full throttle. It would hook.
Oh, that's good.
It'll hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tires is key on them.
Yeah, tires key on everything. Yeah, tires is key. But that's the #1 consumable. Tires. If you want to put power, guys, you got to have tires. especially you drag racers. You guys already know. So if you want to get into drag racing, you need a drag radial.
This thing rides really smooth though for what it is. You know? Very smooth.
Yeah.
Full smooth. All the way through the RPM, it's smooth.
Yeah, she's pretty healthy. She drives good.
And how many miles on this car?
On the chassis, probably 160 right now on the chassis.
Wow, you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it.
That 170.
170. Wow.
170.
You wouldn't know it driving it.
But on the drivetrain, though, probably got 8,000 miles on the drivetrain. On the motor, transmission,
yeah.
and
That's right. Super smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the C5, I always felt like you could just throw this car into any turn, any situation. The C6, not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Well, why do you think that is, though?
I don't know.
That suspension's supposed to be better.
I'm just way more careful with that C6. This thing, I would just throw it into any situation. The C6, not so much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe it's the power.
Might be the power and the torque. Yeah, possibly, yeah. But you have a wider tire. Like this one is 315 all around.
Yeah.
You got a 335 in the rear of yours.
Yeah, I don't know if it's you feel the road a little more, you know, it's a little more predictable.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say this one feels a little bit more tossable.
Yeah.
Maybe because yours is wider too, like the wide body.
Yeah.
You think that could be throwing it off at all?
Yeah,
like,
it
get
could.
the feel?
Maybe just more grip all around in the C6, and when it goes, it goes.
It goes, yeah.
A little quicker.
Yeah, because it's got more power. Yeah, that makes sense.
And what clutch is this? Is this an LS7 clutch?
LS7 clutch.
It's really smooth.
Yep. I did the measurements on it too.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of guys skip that.
Yeah. Yep, they just throw it in and then wonder why they got problems down the road.
Yep.
So overall, this car's great. It might go to my son, who's in the military, and I'll go ahead and graduate and get something newer, perhaps a C6. I do like the C7, but I don't like the problems they have.
Yeah, I would say if you're slightly limited on budget, I'd go with the C5. You know, a lot of the stuff you can do it yourself. I mean, some of it you can't.
Right, right.
But the C6, you're gonna spend immediately $3,000 or $4,000
to get those heads. Unless someone did the heads for you.
Yeah, unless they've already been done.
Yeah, and definitely try to get the paperwork to verify.
Yeah.
That they've been done by a reputable shop. Yeah, breaking loose. What's up, guys? We're in a C6 Zo6 with the big 7-liter engine. And from the factory, this thing makes 505 at the crank. This one's been turned up, obviously. And I'll let Miles say what he did to it to turn it up.
Yeah, this is just a little heads cam package. Motor was pretty tired, so it got bored 10 over, forged piston, forged crank, forged rods. It's just some safety measures in there.
All right, so the weak point on this car is the heads. They have valve guides that break, and then you drop a valve and the engine is done. And you got a boat anchor now because it's pretty expensive to fix.
Very common on these.
Yeah, very common. So that's the weak point, I would say, with the LS7. Its strength is in the torque that it makes down low, and you can throw all the power at it, and it can take it if you got the motor built right, because it's got a forged rotating assembly. So that's what we like about the car.
Little extra weight there, but it's worth the safety.
How much weight you think is added?
I think it loses about 20, 25 horsepower just from that forged rotating.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, okay, let me take it from the top. So he changed his rotating assembly because his engine was tired. So it added some weight. But on the stock one, the stock setup, the titanium rods, they're pretty light. That's what makes this thing rev to 7,000 RPM. which is high for those standards back in '07 when this particular car was built. All right, we can pause it now. That's all we needed. All right, so we're in a C7 now. This one's automatic, C7 Zo6. So this has the boosted motor. From the factory, it's got the big 650 horsepower.
LT4.
Yep, at the crank. So this one's probably pushing close to 7 to the tire.
And already I don't feel as safe just sitting in this car. It's tighter. It feels smaller.
Yeah, inside feels definitely smaller for some reason. If you're a big dude, you probably won't feel that comfortable. So the pros on this car, obviously, it looks awesome. The interior is updated. Chevy definitely fixed that. Oh, that means the battery's dying. You might have to do it yourself. You're gonna have to hold it.
Hey.
The battery died. I gotta get that charged. So that's cool. That's good right there. All right, so Chevy fixed the interior of this car. The other cars look dated. I mean, the nice navy here. The gauge layout's nice. The thing I don't like though, this leather on the top. After a while, I mean, you can't see it in camera, but it starts to go bad. It starts bubbling it up, which I'll show that towards the end. I'll put a B-roll in it. And I'll show you guys. But other than that, interior is pretty stout. I'm not gonna step in this car. It's still cold, and it's a buddy of mine. He's actually a client too, so I wouldn't want him to see the video and say, "Oh, Max out there having fun with my car,"
Yeah,
which he's okay with because he's already told me, "Go, Max, go have fun with it. Do it, put it through its paces," because I am, and I want to make sure it's right. But anyway, I don't want to show that on video. So anyway, C7s, I have a love-hate relationship. Sensors go bad on this car for some reason out of the blue, or sensors give you feedback that something's wrong and there's really nothing wrong. You probably just got to change the battery.
And that's why it's in right now.
Yep, it was having hard starts when we tested the battery, and the battery failed the test. So these cars have so many sensors, you got to make sure the battery's right.
They like to kick crank sensors, cam position sensor codes.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a little mileage on this platform, 70, 80,000 miles, and it just throws sensors everywhere. Random misfires.
All right, so the direct injector motors, like I said, I have a love-hate. Here's a problem with the direct injected on the Corvettes. The Corvette guys, especially the older guys that go to car shows, they rarely drive it, and when they drive it, they barely get heat in the motor before they pull up to the car show. And these cars don't have a way of cleaning off the carbon.
They build a lot of carbon up.
It'll build a lot of carbon. So if you have a C7 or even a direct injected, Camaro, you don't drive much. When you do drive it, get on it. Get some heat in it. Get on it so it can break up that carbon. If not, you're gonna have some issues. And Corvette and Camaro, that's not the only car. All direct injected motors have that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, BMW's been having that problem for years.
We see a lot of it on the LT platform.
Yep.
Random misfire, bad injectors.
Oh yeah, the injectors on this platform leak a lot. They start putting some miles, they start to leak. So they make good power though, but they have too many issues for me, for my opinion. But I do love the platform. The C8, I don't have enough experience with that yet. I'm understanding that those transmissions are blowing up on the track. But that's a whole different topic, different story. So C5, C6, C7, obviously the newer car costs more money. C5, great bang for the buck. It's going to be hard to beat that. C6, I think it's a great mid-grade.
And these are Z06s we're talking about.
Yeah, not just the regular one. The Z06, not non-base model. All right, guys, hopefully that helps someone out there trying to make a decision. Or if you're in the loop, not in the loop, but if you're thinking about a Corvette, it's your first Corvette, I say get a C5. If you're older and you're not going to drive it hard, go ahead and get a newer one just because they have more creature comforts. And you could drive longer, but don't step on it if you don't have that experience. You will put these around the tree. Happens all the time.
That's right.